Hey everybody, it's been a while since we did a current state of autopilot video, mostly because I don't have the current state of autopilot. But right now I have a 2025 Model X loaner that has the most up-to-date FSD version 14.1.7, which I believe is the most up-to-date right now that you can have. And so I also want to try this beast at a supercharger, so I'm going to go to a V4 one, or I don't know if it's true V4. I think it is. And then we're going to go there. So what's cool about Autopilot now is that you can just press the button. Oh, and I have a setting. So under Autopilot, you can say require brake press and release to start FSD. So if I didn't have that, it would just, in fact, maybe we could just, should we turn that off? Because we want to see the current state of Autopilot. So I'm at the Tesla service center right now. Where's that supercharger? There it is. This is the newest one in this area. All right, there we go. Foot's not on the pedal or anything. I have no idea if somebody's behind me. Interestingly, so this screen is huge. Ooh, I hope it, can you see the pole? No, you can't see the pole very well. This isn't really the best way to do Autopilot, I guess.
Now turn right onto 20.
Maybe I'll hold this up a little bit. There we go. All right. What was I saying? Oh yeah, the backup camera isn't super high resolution, and you can tell because the screen is super high resolution. So, all right. So yeah, and also this vehicle has the yoke. I wouldn't choose the yoke, but I do appreciate that it has just so much open space here. It's very nice. Preconditioning the battery. Please pay attention to the road. Yeah. Oh, there's an EV Hummer. Wish it came in a 6-seater or an 8-seater. Preconditioning battery for faster charging.
In 1,000 feet,
we'll
turn
see.
right onto Breton Avenue Southeast.
So as I've said in a different video, the newer Model X's compared to my old 2018 are just so much better. They feel better.
Now turn right onto Breton Avenue Southeast.
The suspension is much more comfortable. The heating and AC is much more even. Except the one thing that they took away in the newer ones, in my vehicle, I can independently control the third
now
row
turn left onto 28th Street Southeast.
pillars, pillar vents. But in the new ones, actually, I don't even know if they have the pillar ones. Or maybe they're just, you can't control them. Well, actually, that's not true. The second row in mine is also controlled by the same thing. So I guess it's similar, but I just noticed when I tested it one time in the showroom that the third row vents, I can't blast them as strongly in the new vehicles as I can in my older X. So anyway, yeah, Autopilot, very smooth turns, very natural progressions, right here where we're inching up to this vehicle. Very good. Pretty busy intersection right here. So we're going to be advancing left on a yellow flashing arrow, and I can't tell what this car is doing, so the car decided to wait for the caddy driver, and all things were clear, so we went. Yeah. So that's all good. Now my old vehicle, my old X, which is 2018, has version 12.6, or I don't know what it is. And it can do most of the function. It doesn't have start by button, so that's kind of a bummer. It doesn't have nearly as good parking. It won't pull in forward to park. It will back up to park, but you have to make it find a spot by the ultrasonics and then select it. So it's just not as advanced. It's much more basic, and it's also a little iffy when it backs up. It's very good at parallel parking though. But it always has been. So back to new Autopilot. The word on the street is that it's a lot better at detecting when to stop for school buses, which is great. It was always weird that it didn't do that very well. I have this set on hurry, so it decided to move into this lane because it's faster. I think I'm gonna put it back on the standard just because this is the current state of Autopilot. I think Tesla should revert back to just calling things Autopilot instead of this full self-driving, feature complete, beta, supervised versus unsupervised. It's just Autopilot. So now I think they are pivoting to Tesla self-driving instead of full self-driving. So the terminology changes almost as much as the software. So we're going to be on this for a couple of miles. Autopilot keeping a good distance here. I'm just going to pause some of this because it's not very interesting. One thing to keep in mind with driver confidence, I guess, is when you ride with somebody else driving, they give you little cues. They give you little indications of whether that are either confidence inspiring or confidence detracting. For example, do they, when you're coming up to a stop, does it feel like they know the stop is there and they're sort of gradually stopping, or does it kind of catch them by surprise? Are they aware of the surroundings, or again, are things catching them by surprise? And there's a myriad of little things that communicate that to a passenger. And this Autopilot is quite good at, detecting things early. And sometimes it breaks a little bit later than I would prefer, especially in my older one. Not so much in this, I haven't noticed. It has gone a little faster than I would in some maybe smaller streets, but it does a lot of things to let you know that, like, I see things, I'm looking, I know what's going around, and I'm reacting to them. So, and that's pretty important
In
for
1,000 feet, turn right to take the US
rider's
131
experience,
northbound toward Grand
or
Rapids.
passenger's experience. Alright, so we're going to be getting on the freeway here.
Now turn right to take the US 131 north ramp.
Previous Autopilots have struggled on on-ramps. They would stay at the street speed until like kind of late, whereas a normal person like sort of ramps up speed gradually, but forcefully. Like, you're definitely going to be getting up to speed soon enough. And this version did a good job of that. So previously, like, it feels like Autopilot would be trying to merge onto a freeway at like 45 miles an hour because it didn't get up to speed. It didn't know what to do with speeds on the on-ramps. Looks like somebody's carrying a house up there. That's interesting. So that'll be a fun one to get around. Let's see how this goes. If it knows the house is there or if it just knows that that car is going too slow. So moving over. That oversized Lowe's sign is backwards. Nice accommodations. Oh, there's another house up ahead.
In 1 mile, take exit 86B on the left onto Interstate 196 West.
Well, we're going to be going to a freeway interchange, I think, before we pass the next flying house. Back when my vehicle was on V11, version 11, it would not cross white solid lines, which, yes, it is legal. Sometimes you can't get to an exit unless you do cross one.
Now take exit 86B on the left.
Now up here, when we go around this loop, the merge lane on the left side is going to end, and the lane just ends. There's no indication about it. And my v12.6 will go all the way up there and merge at the end. It looks like this is merging sooner, so that's good. Autopilot has also struggled with those kind of lanes just randomly ending. Doesn't really know that it's coming up, doesn't really foresee it very well. Not sure why we're getting into the right lane, but we are going to be turning right, but we've got like a mile.
Take exit 75 on the right.
Yeah, pretty good. Everything quite smooth. One of the things you find as you use Autopilot a lot is you sort of get a sense of like what's it good at, what's it not good at. And there's a point where you kind of realize like in a lot of situations it's actually better at, you know, always being aware of vehicles immediately around you than you are. You know, there might be one in your blind spot or something, but immediately around the vehicle, there's no blind spots for autopilot. It can see everything. And that's really reassuring, actually, for cyclists and pedestrians and stuff like that. Because, the older you get, the less maybe reaction time, or actually, I guess the longer reaction time you might have, or you don't see quite as well. And it's a very good safety feature that autopilot can see really well around the vehicle. This street's going to be pretty much back of the buttons. Yeah, there's not much. Autopilot's been able to go straight for a long time. It used to not quite get stoplights right all the time. Even now on mine, it will kind of start creeping forward during a red light. Probably because there's some other indication that the light's going to turn green. And then it would get confused with like railroad red lights and stuff like that. But, I know what we should do. We should change this to... Oh yeah, it automatically changed it to, hey, we're going to a charger, so we're going to park
in 1,000 feet, turn right.
As if we are at a charger. So that's cool. So that means I should not even have to pull into a space. Let's see how that goes. Here we are. This is the grocery store that has the parking lot that has the Tesla chargers. There are a few vehicles there, so that's kind of cool to see what it does. And we're going to have to negotiate with this. Oh no, the van's leaving. Thought maybe we're going to have to wait for that.
Now your destination is on the left.
Yeah, so let's see what happens. We've got a Model S and a Model 3 over here. Rogues Gallery here. Is it going to pick the handicap accessible one? Let's see. Yes, it is. Oh no, the one next to it. Okay. Smart. But that's pretty awesome. There we go. Let's do a check on how well it did. Greatest performance, if you will. Not bad, a little bit on the line, but has some grace here. And yeah, not bad. I don't think I had to intervene at all on there. So, pretty good. Alright, we just did a Supercharger test, which is definitely better than my vehicle. And now I want to take this to... I want to go down a street that I know is going to have some new construction on it.
Turn right onto Valley Avenue Northwest.
And I don't think the maps knows that. So... yeah, I want to see what it does. So we need to turn, we're going to turn right up here somewhere. And that right turn into a bike lane just reminds me of it's so easy not to see bikes. Personally, I think bikes should have a different transport area than vehicles. We should separate by category and reduce, collisions and injuries and deaths. But anyway, FSD is actually a great adjunct to cyclist safety because it's always watching for cyclists. And turning right, it is so easy as a driver not to see a really small, bikes are really skinny and you can see through them. So it's really hard to, and they're going at a different speed than you, and they're on the right of you, passing into your drive space. So they're so easy to miss and cause injury, but it's really nice that FSD always has its cameras on, it's always watching, it's always looking, so that's really good. Oh, maybe it's not blocked off. I thought it was. Okay. Yeah, so here's the construction. And we've got this area. Let's see what it does here. Ooh, boy, they really did dig up
In
everything.
500 feet, turn left onto 1st Street Northwest.
Uh-oh, off-road.
Now turn left onto 1st Street Northwest.
Well, all right, little hesitancy here. That road, which used to be, it was two-way, bi-directional, and then it becomes a one-way, a two-lane one-way. And Autopilot gets a little bit confused at first. And this is a, I think it's waiting for this vehicle over here, but this is a very low visibility area here. I don't know why we're going way over here.
In 500 feet, take the Interstate 196 East ramp on the left.
This is a four-way stop. So we'll see how Autopilot interacts with the plebes.
Now take the Interstate 196 East ramp on the left.
Well, let's get through the intersection first. All right, should go, and it's going. Good job recognizing its turn. It only had to negotiate with one other stream of traffic. .45 on this on-ramp, a little slow. It's saying it wants to merge, but we're still at 45 miles an hour. This lane does not continue in the correct direction, so we do need to get out of this lane. But
In 1,000 feet, keep straight to stay on Interstate 196 East.
yeah, that was pretty good.
Now keep straight to stay on Interstate 196 East.
FSD unsupervised, I'm loving it. Alright, not much to do here really. This is just freeway driving, so we'll take a little pause. And we're back. This is going to be our long exit, and then we're going to go
Stay
to
straight to take the ramp.
a busier side street. Alright, this is taking too long. So this is kind of cool. These two lanes are right turn lanes, and Autopilot knew to take the road less traveled, the less crowded one, so that's kind of cool. So many people, not that person specifically, but so many people looking at their phones while driving without Autopilot. It's really weird how hard the what is it, NHTSA, National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, they're so nitpicky about FSD, but they don't even require like hardly anything of other auto manufacturers in terms of like texting and cell phone use and automated braking systems. Like, I think every vehicle should have automatic pedestrian braking, emergency braking. But they're like, oh, FSD doesn't alert the driver. It's like, well, yeah, but it's driving for the driver. It was a much better point years ago when Autopilot was more basic and would miss a lot of stuff. Now it's, I mean, yeah, Autopilot is now like better than a good deal of drivers. Not better than, the best or really good drivers, but it's very good. work going on up there or something. We got a lane blocked off. Oh, now they're moving. I don't know, we'll just enjoy the traffic. Rumors are right now, not rumors, but Musk is openly saying this, that he wants the Tesla system to, what he says, allow texting. But I think what he means by that is that the system, it doesn't mean that Tesla will be responsible. In other words, it won't be unsupervised, but it won't like yell at you for texting and shut itself off when you're texting. Because it is safer to text with FSD on than with it off, for sure. So, and of course he's been saying unsupervised is, just around the corner for quite some time. I mean, at this point, again, this is version 14, and this is the chip in this vehicle is called AI4. And Tesla is developing its next AI5 chip, which is going to be much better. But this is so good that it definitely could be unsupervised in certain conditions. The problem is, how does the car know when the conditions change and alert the driver or the passenger or wake them up soon enough? So I'm not really sure how that works out, because like right now, like the way I'm driving right now, like I would not have to pay attention. There's very low risk of anything happening right here. There's not a row of cars parked on the side here where a kid could suddenly jump out. Like everything in this has a fairly decent reaction time reserve. Conditions where you need to react very quickly, you need to know to slow down, and humans are generally better at context than AI is, at least FSD AI. But it'll get better in the future. But anyway, all that to say, like, it could be unsupervised for sure in like slow traffic and many other, particularly residential areas where, or like city areas where you're not at such high speeds that, it's just when the speed is higher, the stakes are higher too. But in cities, you also have more unguarded bodies, cyclists, pedestrians, and so there's risk on that side. But yeah, I guess I'll do some
In 1 mile,
closing remarks here.
29th Street Southeast.
Turn it around. So yeah, FSD is just, it's really, really good. I think it's good enough now that purchase is $8,000. So that's pretty steep. I don't know that it's worth $8,000. Once it becomes unsupervised and maybe you could summon your car, you could send it home from the airport, or you're at the airport and you could summon it to you. Yeah, then an $8,000 virtual chauffeur could be pretty handy. If money's not too tight, yeah, I would say FSD is definitely worth it. And it is actually useful. It is convenient, and it does decrease stress. It also increases safety, even on simple things like parking, seeing pedestrians. Definitely don't want to hit a pedestrian. And so yeah, and it's becoming very streamlined to use. You get in your car and you tap on the screen where you want to go. You can use your phone to send the directions, just share directions to your phone where you want to go, get in your vehicle, tap the button, and it'll go out of your driveway and take you there and park in a parking spot where, oh, that was cool. FSD just slightly turned to the right, or just slightly nudged to the right a little bit, and that was to free up the right lane space for that traffic. That was pretty cool. So yeah, the current state of supervised autopilot is very, very good. Hopefully we are close to unsupervised in some capacity. It just always keeps getting delayed. Now this is actually, so Autopilot got, oh no, this is correct. I always forget that it's correct sometimes. Sometimes it's better than me.
Now turn right onto 29th Street
I have been
Southeast.
extremely skeptical of FSD, unsupervised robotaxi, basically, like driverless FSD, since V11 or through V11, because it just was not understanding things. V12 changed my opinion. I think it's definitely possible now to have unsupervised. The timeline now still keeps me skeptical of, like, you know, is this really going to come out? I think it definitely will come out in some capacity. I think it will be kind of restricted in, like, these are situations you can use unsupervised. You know, it just makes sense to do that from a safety perspective and a liability perspective. Whether it's going to be better in all conditions, like, I don't know. I drive in snow and ice. People have to get around even when the conditions are bad, and I don't know that FSD is going to, I don't know when it'll be better for that. And also, like, just triaging what things in high-risk environments where, like, you know, FSD is getting better, but it's just hard to predict whether it's going to have the really contextual awareness and understanding. And Musk says that they're going to be adding, quote-unquote, intelligence to it for parking lots, because otherwise you have to have some intelligence looking at a parking lot, where you want to park, what's important in parking.
500 feet, turn right.
And so if they add that component to real-time driving, like, yeah, we could get there. So, but anyway, the current state of Autopilot on v14.1.7 is pretty awesome. Oh, look, here's some new deliveries. New vehicles, fresh.
Now your destination
Any
is
standards? I don't see any standard Model Ys. Hey, there's a Rivian. I better get out of the way of this truck. All right. So, the moral of the story, head to your local Tesla dealer.